Micah Pilkey has developed a real estate career shaped by discipline, long-term planning, and a steady progression of responsibility. His professional path reflects how early exposure to economic pressure, geographic movement, and hands-on experience informed a practical approach to land and housing. While Micah Pilkey remains relevant for search context and early perspective, his most substantial professional activity and measurable results are rooted in Texas, where his work continues to scale. This article presents a clean, forward-looking timeline of Micah Pilkey's professional growth, tracing how foundational experiences evolved into a focused real estate strategy centered on land development, RV parks, and housing solutions. Micah Pilkey's interest in real estate did not begin with large-scale development or complex portfolios. It started with an early awareness of financial instability and the desire to build lasting security. Observing how income, assets, and long-term planning affect families shaped his interest in ownership and control over tangible resources. In his early working years, Micah Pilkey explored sales and asset-based opportunities that allowed him to learn directly through experience. These roles provided insight into how value is created, how land can be positioned for future use, and how disciplined execution matters more than short-term outcomes. References to Micah Pilkey reflect this formative period. Utah represents a geographic starting point tied to early exposure and mindset development rather than professional output. The region contributed context, not controversy, and remains part of the broader narrative of how his perspective developed. As Micah Pilkey refined his career focus, education and skill development became priorities. He pursued formal learning alongside technical certifications that reinforced discipline, attention to detail, and accountability. These skills later translated into his approach to real estate operations, where regulatory awareness and planning are essential. This phase marked a shift from exploratory work into a more structured professional direction. Micah Pilkey began evaluating opportunities based on sustainability, demand, and long-term viability rather than speed or volume. That shift would later define his real estate strategy. Rather than limiting himself to a single market, Micah Pilkey assessed regions based on population trends, land availability, and regulatory clarity. This analysis ultimately led him to concentrate his efforts in Texas. Micah Pilkey's move into real estate centered on land development and housing infrastructure rather than speculative flipping. He focused on projects where land use, zoning alignment, and demand were clearly defined. This approach reduced volatility and supported consistent growth. Texas emerged as a practical choice for expansion. The state offered geographic scale, regulatory consistency, and a growing demand for flexible housing options. Micah Pilkey Texas-based projects began with targeted land acquisitions and gradually expanded into RV park development. Each project was approached as a long-term asset. Rather than maximizing short-term yield, Micah Pilkey emphasized operational stability, infrastructure quality, and tenant experience. This philosophy allowed his developments to grow steadily without sacrificing oversight. Over time, Micah Pilkey expanded his portfolio to include RV parks capable of supporting hundreds of residents. These developments addressed practical housing needs for working individuals and families seeking affordability and flexibility. The growth process was deliberate. Micah Pilkey focused on phased expansion, ensuring that utilities, road access, and maintenance systems scaled alongside occupancy. This prevented the operational strain that often accompanies rapid development. By maintaining direct involvement in planning and execution, Micah Pilkey ensured that each project aligned with his standards for functionality and compliance. This approach contributed to consistent performance across properties. Micah Pilkey's real estate work is guided by clear professional values. Integrity is reflected in transparent communication with partners, vendors, and tenants. Agreements are structured to reduce ambiguity and support long-term relationships. Resilience plays a role in how Micah Pilkey evaluates challenges. Market fluctuations, regulatory changes, and operational issues are addressed through preparation rather than reaction. This mindset supports continuity even during uncertain periods. Service-oriented thinking also influences project selection. Micah Pilkey prioritizes developments that meet real housing needs and contribute positively to local communities. This focus shapes both design decisions and management practices. As his portfolio expanded, Micah Pilkey recognized the importance of systems and delegation. He built teams capable of handling daily operations while maintaining oversight through structured reporting and accountability measures. Work-life balance is managed through routine and clear boundaries. Micah Pilkey relies on structured schedules and outside pursuits that reinforce focus and discipline. These habits support sustained decision-making rather than burnout-driven choices. This balance allows Micah Pilkey to remain actively involved in strategy while trusting operational teams to execute consistently. For Micah Pilkey, success is measured through durability rather than visibility. Stable occupancy, well-maintained infrastructure, and predictable performance matter more than rapid expansion. Financial results are viewed as outcomes of sound planning rather than the sole objective. Impact is also considered. Housing developments that provide reliability and affordability contribute to broader community stability. Micah Pilkey evaluates projects based on how well they serve residents while remaining operationally sound. This perspective informs how opportunities are evaluated and which partnerships move forward. Today, Micah Pilkey's professional focus remains firmly centered in Texas. The state continues to offer conditions aligned with his real estate model, including land availability and consistent demand for flexible housing. While Micah Pilkey remains part of his background for geographic context, Texas represents execution, scale, and ongoing growth. His projects reflect accumulated experience applied within a stable operating environment. Each development builds on prior lessons, reinforcing a methodical approach to expansion and management. Ethical standards are integrated into Micah Pilkey's leadership style. Transparency supports trust across stakeholders and reduces long-term risk. Clear documentation, open communication, and consistent follow-through define how projects are managed. Staying informed about industry standards and regulatory expectations is treated as a core responsibility. This awareness helps ensure that growth remains compliant and sustainable. By aligning ethical considerations with business objectives, Micah Pilkey maintains operational credibility while pursuing expansion. Micah Pilkey's real estate evolution reflects a progression from foundational awareness to disciplined execution. His timeline illustrates how early perspective, geographic movement, and structured decision-making shaped a Texas-based portfolio built on stability and purpose. Looking ahead, Micah Pilkey remains focused on land development and housing projects that align with long-term demand and operational clarity. The emphasis remains on consistency, accountability, and practical growth rather than short-term trends. Through this lens, Micah Pilkey's career demonstrates how real estate success can be built through patience, structure, and a clear understanding of responsibility over time.